the thing that makes me happy is the contempt that I have on my business. At night, I don't go to bed saying कि यार मेरा काम आज किसी ने अप्रूव नहीं करा या मेरे काम में आज किसी ने कोई कमी निकाल दी. I go to bed with a tendency कि मैंने जो आज काम करा मैं उससे आज satisfied हूँ.
Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Fashion Days. I am Paras Chabra, the host for the show. In this podcast, I interview some of the most successful people in diverse fields who can share their story and help you to discover and pursue your passion and purpose. If you are looking for the answers to the questions like how to find my passion, how to have a fulfilling career, or how do I follow the path of my passion, then this is definitely going to help you. In this episode, I am interviewing Rishabh Goyal. He's the co-founder of home decor brand known as Stitchnest. I know him from college, he was my senior, and he was known for his management skills in our college society, which was IEEE. He also explored stand-up comedy during his journey and then went on for a corporate job and then went for starting his own venture, which is Stitchnest. Let's listen to this amazing conversation. Also, you might encounter some background noise in this one. Please excuse us for that. We will make sure that it doesn't happen from the next time. Let's enjoy the conversation. Hi Rishabh, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. आप बताओ.
I'm also doing great. So let's dive right into the questions. So Rishabh, first of all, how was your childhood and what were some major incidents that you remember from it that you think shaped you?
Yeah, I can't really put a finger out on one particular incident which has shaped me. It's always a journey. It's always a journey about everything. Like a number of incidents which come together and give you a life lesson. And it's the kind of upbringing that I've had. Like my parents never set a career goal for me. They always let me explore. They were always like, you have to find your own path, you have to find your own journey. They never said कि नहीं तुम्हें family business नहीं join करना. They never pushed me towards the family business. They never said कि तुम्हें engineering करनी है. They were always like, तुम्हें जो करना है अपने आप करना है. Find your own path. We will support you no matter what.
Okay.
So I guess that has made me a lot responsible. Because if you know तुम्हें क्या करना है, you're just focused about it. But you know there's an open field. I guess you become a little bit more responsible towards whatever you're doing. To me, that is how it has been.
What were your aspirations back then when you were before college or in the school? What were your aspirations?
Yeah, actually now school में I was a very mediocre performing student. I was always middle of the class, middle of everything. Although I wanted to explore more, I just didn't know how to. So my school life was very mediocre, but when I joined college, I had this thing that no, I want to do everything. I want to live it through, and I want to explore as much as I can. So yeah, that.
So like, how did you start your exploration journey in college?
Yeah, I realized that I didn't want to exist for 4 years in college. That कि बस पढ़ाई करी और निकल गए वाली चीज नहीं करनी थी. I started looking around. I started with all these societies. I joined IEEE. I started robotics group in my college with my seniors. And then I was in second year. RAS it was. So yeah, it was just exploring new things, meeting new people. That is all it was about my 4 years of college.
So like, I know that I myself was with you in college, so I know that very clearly. So like, how do you think that volunteer experience in societies helped you?
Oh, they did a amazing thing.
Like when you see it now.
I loved those experiences. The learnings that I've had from those experiences is amazing for what I'm doing now. I know how to manage a team of 100 people. Back in college, back in third year, we were managing a team of 100 people, which you were a part of. So you know
Yeah.
where we stood back then. And I guess the biggest thing that taught me, the biggest lesson that I had from it was resource management. So the best thing that happened to me during college was figuring out what a person is best at and placing them in the team accordingly.
Okay.
So that is my biggest learning and the most profitable thing that I have learned so far, which is
Like,
helping me in my business right now.
can you give an example if you remember, like from your business or something that happened recently?
In business, obviously there are always new candidates coming up. I'm always looking to hire new people. I'm always looking for somebody who can add value in my business. So whenever a
Okay.
new they might come in with a resume of graphic designer, but
Okay.
as they go along, I recognize a skill of theirs which can be used apart from graphic designing in my entire workflow. So
Okay.
adding to graphic designing segment of my business, I make sure that they put their effort, a bit of an effort throughout the day into that skill of theirs and that talent of theirs to do something new for my business.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Okay.
So they
And
also
any,
get to hone a
yeah,
skill of theirs and I also get something out of it.
yeah, that's amazing. So, do you also volunteered in some other activities or any other things that you explored apart from this?
Yeah, actually, last year in 2019, I was a part of VILAC cohort. So, under VILAC, it's a Young Leaders in Action program, and under that program, we were assigned to some particular state ministers, chief ministers.
Oh,
I particularly was assigned under Delhi CM. I worked with Arvind Kejriwal's office directly. I was in touch with his assistant for about 3 months, and we worked on a policy on solar,
okay.
Delhi government solar power policy.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, how did you come across that? And what made you interested in it?
I've always been interested in the government sector, in public policy sector. I was exploring and I came across this program, went through it, found it interesting, and surprisingly, they were coming up with a cohort, so I applied, and it went well for me. And yeah, at the end of it, I'm an author for Delhi government's policy on their on solar power. So if you see
Oh,
some solar plants coming up nearby your place, you will know that it is because of the policy I wrote.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I'm going to come up about another thing
Mhm.
in college that you were very well known for, which
Okay.
is stand-up comedy. Like,
Yeah.
also, this guy has done everything. This guy has done robotics. This guy has done event management, and now you are a lawmaker too.
Yeah, not lawmaker, policy. Law and policy are two different things.
Okay, like what's the difference?
So law is basically chucking out something that everybody has to follow. The
Okay.
citizens have to follow. Policy is
Mhm.
something which a government follows. A government will check out a plan for itself on how they're going to operate on, say, solar power or transportation, and what stand do they take on developing transport of a state.
So you basically kind of a roadmap for them.
Basically a roadmap for the stakeholders, for the government, for the people who
Okay.
are going to be affected by it, the people who are going to get money out of it, the people who will be support, the people who are supposed to invest into it. It's a roadmap for everybody.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. And what about stand-up comedy? Like, how did you stumble upon it?
So stand-up comedy was a interesting thing actually. I loved doing it. So everybody just scrolls through somebody. Everybody falls in the rabbit hole of YouTube. Same thing happened to me. There were these stand-up comedians like Gabriel Iglesias, Trevor Noah, and
Yeah.
that Peters guy.
Kevin,
No, that Indian Canadian.
Russell Peters.
Russell Peters, yeah. Just
Yeah.
watching their videos day and night made me realize Gabriel Iglesias is somebody I relate to a lot, and I was like, this can be done. I can do this, and just got on Facebook, typed stand-up comedy in Delhi, came across a few people, met them, mailed them, reached out to a few like-minded people, and yeah, arranged a first open mic for myself.
Okay, okay, that's nice. And like, how was your journey after that? Like, what all did you explore? What were your expectations before, and what did you
Yeah,
realize it?
when I got into stand-up now, I thought I'll shake up the industry. I thought I am the revolution that this industry needed. But yeah, it is a huge curve. I mean, the people who are in it now, the people who are doing it, who are still pursuing it, are amazingly talented people. The perseverance that they have, the talent that they have, the quick wit they have, is something commendable.
Okay, so like, what do you think? Like, why didn't you continue going forward in it?
See, I could have, but I realized the curve that is needed to start making money or to be a good name in stand up comedy comes to you
Hmm.
once you have achieved a certain level of excellence. For me,
Okay.
that curve of excellence would have come after many, many years because I realized that I wasn't very good at that. For me, it would have taken a
Okay.
lot of practice, it would have taken me a lot of learning to get to a
Hmm.
position where I could leave my mark in the industry and start actually commercializing it. So,
Okay.
and I have always recently in last couple of years, I have thrived for excellence. Like I have been afraid of mediocrity. If you have
Okay.
in my school days, I was reading Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So there's this line of his: mediocrity recognizing nothing but itself. Excellence and talent recognizes themselves.
Like, can
So,
you explain this
so,
for me a bit?
so it is just mediocrity cannot recognize excellence. Mediocrity doesn't care about excellence, whereas
Okay.
excellence and talent they recognize themselves. You'll find excellence yourself if you are thriving for it.
Hmm.
So I realized that if I try to pursue stand-up comedy, I'll only be a mediocre stand-up comedian.
Comedian.
Yeah,
Okay.
or if I wanted to be an excellent stand-up comedian, it would have taken me number of years, which was certainly not an option starting out in my career.
Okay. So, like, if someone else wants to enter into stand-up comedy, what do you think is the career path like? How much do you think actually are the amount of number of years that one has to put into before even starting that uh, money of
See,
commercializing it?
the people that I used to perform with, some of
Mhm.
them have made their mark in the industry. You might have heard of Nishant Suri, Rahul Dua,
Yeah.
and Anas Muhammad Anas. These Muhammad Anas was actually the guy who gave me my first open mic. And
Okay.
if you'd see, these are the upcoming guys, and I know that they have been performing for last 4 or 5 years.
Hmm.
Even
Okay.
that kind of talent, even kind of talent like Rahul Dua, has taken like
Hmm.
4 or 5 years to get his name in the industry.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Rahul Dua and Nishan Suri, believe me, by God, they are amazing people.
Okay. So, like, you think that easily it's a journey of 5 or more than 7, sometimes even 6, 7 years to
Yeah, yeah, I
just
know,
start.
I know a couple of people who have been in the industry for a decade now and haven't left a mark.
Okay. So,
It's
like,
yeah. Tell me.
how? So, do you think that Rahul and Nishan Suri, all of them, how did all of them manage to do it? Like,
Yeah,
along with they have to sustain themselves, right?
yeah. It is also it. See, stand-up comedy is not like other arts, as we were talking before we started, right? Stand-up
Hmm.
comedy is not like other art forms. Stand-up comedy is instant response from your audience. If you're a good singer, You're a good singer in a locked room. If you're a good musician, you're a good musician in a locked room. But you cannot always say that I'm a good stand-up comedian in a locked room. You have to get out
Oh,
in front of 100 people. And that might not be the same for a same set of 100 people. You could be funny to 100 people in one room, and you could go flat for with the same set of jokes for another 100 people. So
got it.
it's the number of per hours that you have performed, it's the experience that you have gained, it's the talent that you hone yourself. That is what makes you stand out.
So, so like, how do you must have met a lot of people who were going into stand-up comedy, right? So, how do most of these guys manage to sustain themselves apart from since it's not being commercialized in the earlier journey? So, how does most of them manage?
See, it is recommended to keep a hobby your hobby till it matches your day job.
Okay.
That is what I suggest. Unless and until you start making the same money from your hobby as you're making in your
Hmm.
day job, it's better to keep it as a hobby, not make it your passion and dive into it.
Hmm. Makes sense. Cool. So, and like, I know that you also got placed from a college, right? And like, it was a very good job as well. Like,
Hmm.
right? You, you were a business technology analyst,
Yeah,
right?
I was.
Uh, so, what was that experience like for you?
So I got placed in ZS Associates as a business technology analyst. It was a turnaround for me. I wasn't expecting to get placed. I wasn't even considering ZS as a viable option because honestly my grades did not allow for it. But yeah, it happened. I managed to clear the interviews and everything. Yeah, it was a good experience actually. I got to learn a lot about corporate lives and corporate flow of work, how they manage everything, how the
Hmm.
leadership actually manages the lowest of the people, lowest of the workforce, and yet influence them in a great way.
Okay. Okay. And what were the best parts about it, and what were the worst?
Uh, Best parts were the people that I met. I met some amazing people who were thriving day and night to succeed in a corporate job. These were amazing, hardworking, smart people. I know people who graduated from IIT Delhi and were working with ZS. Amazing
Hmm.
talents. And the worst part is obviously for me, it was the having to report my work to my seniors. See, I have never been a person who's able to report to anybody. I've always had that thing that I cannot report to anybody. I have to make my own decisions. I have to decide what I have to do by myself. So
So,
that, yeah, tell me.
like, why do you think so? Uh, would do you reflect sometimes like what is behind that not wanting to report to somebody?
And see, my parents, it actually comes from my parents that they never asked me, they never questioned me on how I wanted to do things. They always let
Okay.
me explore, and after I had explored, they would ask, "Kya hua hai?" If it went wrong, they would ask me, "How did you manage to go wrong?" And if it went well, they always appreciated me. They never
Uh,
questioned me. They never tried to guide me. Not guide me actually, but not try to set a path for me. They never checked out a plan or road path for me कि तुम्हें यही करना है. So I guess it comes from them.
okay. Okay. So, like, now, so do you think like is it a good reason? Because I think a lot of people have that they want to be their own boss. They don't want to be answerable. Uh, do you think it's a good enough reason for someone to start something of their own or uh, find their own journey?
Wanting to be their own boss.
Yeah.
See, I would say at an age of 22 to 25 or 26, it is too young, it is too early for anybody to decide what they want to be. For me, leaving ZS and starting something of my own was also an exploration. It might have worked out,
Okay.
it might not have worked out. I wasn't gonna. I didn't start my something of my own saying deciding कि बस अब यही है और like this is the permanent thing that I'm gonna do.
Okay.
So it was a part of exploration. So I guess everybody should explore on what they'll connect with and where they excel.
Okay. 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 That makes a lot of sense. So now let's start on your story of uh Stitchness. Like,
Okay. It's a little hard
how
to
did you
pronounce, I guess. Stitch nest.
yeah, Stitchness.
Yeah.
So how did your journey start? How did you discover it?
So actually, Stitch Nest came out of my sister's will to get out of her illness. She was bedridden for a couple of years and she wanted to start something of her own because she had to leave her corporate job because of her illness. So she started with ZS, and one day while I was working in ZS, me and her got to discuss on what her plans was, what direction she wanted to take ZS in, this Stitchnest in. And I liked what she had planned. We did our research, and the things that came out, the things that came up were actually very exciting for both of us. We both got really excited on the kind of market that we could explore. So I
Okay.
also decided to resign from from ZS, and me and my sister got on the Stitchnest bandwagon, and it has been great ever since.
Okay. Okay. That's amazing. And like, what were those exciting things that you just talked about, which you both wanted to pursue?
So, when I was in ZS, no, I didn't get to meet a lot of like-minded people. I met some amazing people, some hardworking, some amazing talents, but I didn't get to meet a lot of like-minded people. But when it came to
Okay.
ZS, no, the kind of market we could explore with Stitch Next, it allowed me to meet a lot of like-minded people. And at that age, at the age of 23, I wanted to meet a lot of like-minded people
Yeah.
who could
Okay.
actually, from whom I can learn a lot in the career path that I wanted to follow.
So like-minded people, as in, like, what was the criteria, if you can articulate it?
I guess people who wanted to start something of their own, who wanted to be their own boss, and were actually thriving for it. See, there are a lot of Monday motivators that you'll see, and I call
Yeah.
them Monday motivators. Every Monday morning, you'll see a post from them. Okay, ये करो, वो करो, ऐसे करो, वैसे करो, and then they'll go to their 9 to 5 jobs. Nothing against them. Obviously, they're thriving in their jobs. Obviously, they're putting in a lot of effort, respect to their
Mm.
efforts. But then again, there is a time when you need to look into yourself and say कि नहीं मुझे भी वही करना चाहिए जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
Yeah.
So stay away from that kind of people because they just give you hopes and not actually give you actions on that. Stay away from
Mm.
that kind of people. And people who are actually putting in an effort to become their own bosses.
Okay. And how did you uh, get to spend time with them or network with them?
See, when I'm a business when I'm in business, the kind of business I am in, I get to meet that kind of people left and right. I have worked with business developers from Sabyasachi. I have worked with
Mm.
design developers basically from Walmart, Vishal Mega Mart, and these are
Mm.
like-minded, like our age own group only, and some
Okay.
amazing talents there also.
Okay. And like, um, so how do you think, like, what kind of encounters do you have? Like, how do you think that they affect you as well? Like, their ideas affect you? Like, can you give an example?
Every conversation with them is a learning experience. So there's this guy. He's much elder to us. He's in his early 40s, and he's also an
Okay.
engineer. And he's an amazing entrepreneur. Like he was an entrepreneur when entrepreneur concept was not in India. And amazing guy, still very young, and he has taught me so much in last 6 months. He has,
Like, do you want to mention his name?
yeah, Sandeep.
Okay.
So he is amazing. Like he has explored Singapore's market, he has explored Taiwan's market, he has explored Japan's market, and he knows what Japan is doing, which will help him overtake India, or what Singapore is doing, which will help Singapore take over India in the sense of
Okay.
economy.
Okay.
So amazing guy. Like I wish I had that kind of a vision, and I'm trying to build that kind of a vision that guy has.
Okay. So, like, do you think that these people, like the guy you talked about, they always had this vision, or do you think that the vision is something which develops as you grow up?
I would like to believe that you can develop that vision because currently my vision is, I hope what I have someday somebody will call it a vision, what I'm doing or what I will do someday somebody will call it a vision. But
Uh,
yeah, I guess it's always the knowledge base that you have which gets converted into a vision, I
like, can you explain this a bit?
guess. See, currently sitting in Delhi with an e-commerce business with a set of knowledge that I have, I can only say that
Mm.
I have a vision of how e-commerce will perform in India in the next 5 years. But if I had a
Okay.
knowledge base of how Singapore is doing in e-commerce or how Singapore is developing their products, I would be better able to comment that Singapore has a better market. So that would be a vision that I go to Singapore, I start sourcing from Singapore or get into some kind of a partnership with Singapore's businessmen. So that will get converted into a vision.
Uh, oh, that's interesting. So basically, the more diverse knowledge you have, the broader
Exactly.
vision you get. You
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly.
Okay. 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 That's great. Okay, so like about Stitchnet, that the journey, how the journey of Stitchnest started. So I
Stitch
want
next.
to Stitchnest.
Stitch
Sorry.
next. I know. It is a little hard to roll off the tongue.
So the I want to know more about how the journey of Stitchnest started. So like, how was it something like? Did you follow the process of finding a gap, or was it something your sister or you were passionate about?
Obviously, yes, obviously, we found a gap in the Indian market. We explored some international markets and saw what international markets were demanding. And we realized that Indian markets are looking for it, but none of our contemporary brands are providing it. So we
Okay.
hired some designers. I actually hired some designers from our college itself, and some amazing talent I found in our college, and we got on it. We started designing. We came up with amazing catalogs, and we put out, and instantaneously we see an exponential growth.
Okay. And like, how was your journey of this? Like, can you describe for other aspiring entrepreneurs as well, like how to go about this, finding a right gap, and then testing the waters if it exists here also? How was that for you?
Always, so the market gaps is something that you might not realize exists. You always have to keep looking at other markets. See, it comes down to the same point: knowledge of other markets, on what other markets are doing apart from the market that you are in.
Hmm.
You have to, it all comes out to the vision. Something which the market doesn't require now, it might need after 6 months. It might not
Okay.
be a market gap right now, but it might be a huge market gap 1 year down the line. So you have to be on a lookout for that. You have to have that vision कि नहीं, अच्छा अभी मार्केट अगर ये मांग रही है तो 1 साल बाद वो ये भी मांगेगी.
Okay. So like, how were you observing this? Like, I'm sure like this started 1 or 2 years back. You started observing what's happening, but where were you observing these things?
International markets, man, get on Amazon.in, get on AliExpress. If you are not related to product based, get on the service provider websites. Get check what all models people are doing in other countries. Learn from
Okay.
them, learn from their challenges, explore different domains of different companies of what all they have achieved. Keep looking out. Be on a lookout
Okay.
always.
Okay. And after that, you tried to test waters, right?
Yeah.
Like the
Test
same.
waters, yeah,
Yeah.
testing waters is always a challenge in India because you never know what will click and what won't.
Why is that so?
Here, Indian market is divided in a really unexpected ways. There are people from the financial gap, the economy status is so different that you can never know
Hmm.
what kind of a society will like what kind of product. Obviously,
Okay.
they'll be willing to pay according to their pocket, but you can never say which segment will like what kind of a design.
Okay. Okay. So like, so then how does one go about it?
Testing waters again. Test it out. So every month it happens. It happens with us every month. Every now and then that there are designs that we launch which we expect to do well in a particular market, but it actually doesn't. And
Okay.
then there are kind of designs which we expect to work better in east side of the market, and we place it in the eastern part of India, but we start getting orders from south for that particular
Oh.
design. That has happened to us. Then we have this partnership with Vishal Megamart. We are live in every store of Vishal Megamart, and they have this huge base of data with them, right? Obviously,
Mhm.
and they provided us that database and told us to come up with designs accordingly. So
Okay.
for every region, we came up with designs that these designs will do better in that kind of a region. These designs will do better in this kind of a region. And there was this whole set of common designs which were placed in every store of Vishal Mega Mart.
Okay.
So that also gave us a lot of data on how to test waters and what all we can expect.
Okay. Okay. That's great. So now coming about the happiness part of it, like how do you compare it from your corporate job, and what are some of the things that actually make you happy?
See, the thing that makes me happy is the contempt that I have on my business. At night, I don't go to bed saying कि यार मेरा काम आज किसी ने अप्रूव नहीं करा या मेरे काम में आज किसी ने कोई कमी निकाल दी. I
Okay.
go to bed with a tendency कि मैंने जो आज काम करा मैं उससे आज satisfied हूँ.
Hmm.
और I don't go to bed
Okay.
until I satisfy myself कि आज काम ठीक हो गया, चलो आज का दिन प्रोडक्टिव था.
Like, and I also want to talk about like when you initially started your journey, what were your expectations back then from being your own boss? I'm sure that some of the motivations that there are earlier in the journey might slowly die out when you are actually working on it, right?
Uh,
So
See, there's this basic fear of mediocrity that still drives me. Even when we are launching a new catalog, even we are starting out a new program, it's the mediocrity that scares me, and it's just that I want it to be so perfect, which drives me and keep
okay.
pushing and pushing.
And do you think it is a good way to be driven by this fear? Like, I'm sure
See,
this is working out
everybody,
well.
yeah, yeah. See, everybody has their own driving force.
Okay.
Everybody finds their own driving force at some point in life.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm glad that I found it does have a negative connotation to it that I've been driven by fear, but
Yeah.
I guess it is working out, and I guess it's not a fear of something negative. It's a fear of something positive only. It's a positive thing to
Okay.
have, I guess.
Okay. And it's pushing you in the right direction as well.
It is. It is. It is.
Okay. So first of all, I'm sure like you might be a little uh, a lot financially fulfilled right now. So right. And
People could say
but
that.
to some extent. Yeah.
Everybody has
And
their own set of financial stability, right?
benchmark. Yeah, but like, what do you think is the anchor right now? Like, I'm being driven by fear of mediocrity is one thing, but what is the anchor of exploring into other avenues? Is it the money, or is it some curiosity in some domain?
See, curiosity is always which gets you places. If you're not curious, if you're just running after the money, it might land you up in the wrong waters. But being curious
Okay.
will allow you to explore and realize what is right and what is not.
Can you like describe it for yourself? Really, like what is it like you are curious about, and what are you looking forward to
So
next?
I'm always curious about how American US markets perform. I'm always curious how American brands manage to cater to so many different uh, needs of people. See, America is a consumer driven market. The consumer base in America is huge. And
Yeah.
it always makes me curious how US brands manage to deliver so much. Because in India,
Okay.
I have this limited set of resources and this limited range that I can produce from whatever I have. But if you go to
Okay.
an American counterpart of Nino, they'll be producing
Mhm.
10 different kind of products from the same setup that I have.
Okay.
So that is very curious to me, and how they are managing it and how they are delivering to their customer.
Okay. Okay. Nice. That's amazing. Cool. So this was an amazing conversation. Like one last question that I would like to ask you.
Yeah.
Like this is something for the audience. What advice would you give to someone whom you think is in a job that they are not liking?
And want to make a switch.
Yeah.
See, it depends on the kind of switch. If you're trying to start something of your own, no, start working on it on the sides. Make sure that it grows to the 40% at least of what you're earning to support you basically, and stop looking for perfection at some point. You can never
Okay.
you can Your product or your services can never be perfect enough before launch. Perfection
Hmm.
is a growing process. People take years and years perfecting their product. They launch it and it tanks. And
Okay.
I suggest go live, put out whatever you have worked on, put out a decent product, and get customer feedback. Take the plunge when you
Okay.
know कि अच्छा 40% तक I have built it. Take the plunge, get into it, and start working, start growing it.
So basically, have a bias for action, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And go through the iterative process.
yes. It's
Okay.
always a process. You can never achieve perfection before launch. Never.
Okay. So
You're
I
not
think that's amazing.
you're not the Oyos and Facebooks of the market.
So thank you, Rishabh. That was an amazing conversation. Like anything, like you would would you like to tell listeners about Stitchnest, or where they can reach out to you if they want?
We are live on Amazon. You can reach out to on our website. You can find us in every Vishal Megamart store near you, and hopefully soon we'll be available in different countries as well. We are That is one of the aspects we are exploring right now.
And to the listeners, I would also like to mention that even Yami Gautam uses their pillows. So do check them out.
Yeah, that happened recently.
Yeah, and I wish that a lot more superstars, movie stars feature them.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Thanks a lot,
Yeah,
Paras. Thank you. Yeah, and
thank
I
you.
would like to mention that you are doing an amazing job. I've known you since first year of your college, and I've seen how you have grown, and it's amazing to see what you're doing right now.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Rishabh. That means a lot. Thank you for listening to this episode, guys. Do check out Stitchnest on their website, on Instagram, and on Amazon as well. They have some amazing collection in home decor. You can check out the links in the description. Also, if you haven't followed Passion Days yet, do follow it on Instagram to stay tuned on the upcoming episodes. The Instagram handle is passion_days. You'll find the links in the description as well for this. See you in the next episode. Bye.